Dear friends, life is a wonderful journey woven from a tapestry of diverse relationships. At home, we are surrounded by the unconditional love of family. When we step outside, the world greets us with the faces of friends, colleagues, and neighbors around us. These relationships are the source of joy, laughter, and cherished memories. But they are not always smooth and peaceful. We connect not only with those who bring happiness, but also sometimes face stress, disappointment, and even harm caused by unhealthy relationships. As we grow older, we realize a profound truth. The quality of relationships matters far more than the quantity. A good friend, a trustworthy family member, or a kind neighbor can make your life more meaningful and peaceful than ever. However, if you choose poorly, those relationships can become a source of negative energy, hindering your journey to find happiness. There is a saying I hold dear: choose your friends wisely and be even more careful with your environment. Don't assume that everyone familiar or near you deserves a permanent place in your life. Some neighbors are best appreciated from a distance. Similarly, keeping a certain distance from some family members is essential to protecting your inner peace. In today's video, we'll explore 3 types of neighbors to avoid and 3 types of relatives to keep at a healthy distance. These insights will not only help you steer clear of negative energy, but also provide you with valuable tips to build a happier and more serene life. If you are seeking peace and positive relationships in your life, don't forget to hit subscribe and ring the bell to stay inspired. Now, let's embark on this journey of discovery together. 3 types of neighbors to avoid. Neighbors are familiar faces we encounter daily in our lives. They can be an indispensable part of the picture of happiness, or conversely, the source of disruption to our peace. Some neighbors bring warmth to our lives, like the morning sun, ready to lend a helping hand when needed, sharing joy and memorable moments. But others, even though they live right next door, can bring unease and disturbance, like a cold wind that sweeps through your soul, robbing you of the serenity you've worked so hard to maintain in your private space. We often think of our homes as sanctuaries of peace, a place to rest and recharge after busy hours in the outside world. But if you happen to live next to toxic neighbors, that sanctuary can lose its meaning. They can bring chaos, emotionally drain you, and even seriously affect your mental health. Unrelenting noise, inconsiderate behavior, or harsh words can become sources of toxic energy that disrupt your life. That's why recognizing and keeping a healthy distance from certain types of neighbors isn't just wise, but essential for protecting your inner peace. By setting clear boundaries, you can transform your home into a true sanctuary, a place where you can enjoy the comfort and happiness you deserve. Today, let's explore 3 types of neighbors you should avoid. These insights will not only help you maintain stability in your life, but also teach you how to build a positive and harmonious living environment. Ready? Let's dive in. The gossip. A gossiping neighbor, often referred to as the unstoppable storyteller, exists in nearly every community. These individuals are always at the center of conversations, acting as if they know everything that's happening in the area. Most notably, they have a tendency to turn simple stories into dramatic scenarios. Imagine living a peaceful life, Yet every time you step outside, you feel a pair of watchful eyes following you. This type of neighbor doesn't just observe. They actively ask seemingly harmless questions to gather information for their next breaking story. I recall a personal experience living near Mrs. Linda, a quintessential gossip. She never missed an opportunity to strike up a conversation with me. One day, I carried a large box into my house. It was simply a new piece of furniture I had purchased. But by the next morning, the entire neighborhood was buzzing with rumors that I was planning a secret move. These baseless rumors didn't just irritate me, but also made me feel like my personal space was being invaded. Such neighbors can have far more serious consequences than you might think. Unfounded rumors can erode trust between you and the community, leaving you feeling isolated. They don't just spread information, they often embellish it, turning simple stories into heavy, negative narratives. Stoic philosophy reminds us that while we cannot control the words of others, we can control how we respond. Don't let yourself get entangled in their web of drama. Instead, maintain a respectful distance and protect your personal space. It's important not to share too much personal information. Remember, your inner peace is more important than any rumor circulating in the neighborhood. A polite yet firm distance from gossip-loving neighbors is the most effective way to safeguard your mental well-being and keep your life free from unnecessary disruption. The selfish neighbor. Selfish neighbors are those who always prioritize their own needs above everything else, without any regard for the feelings or inconvenience they may cause others. Imagine one day your water heater breaks and you are in desperate need of a shower. You knock on the door of your neighbor, James, asking if you can borrow his shower just once while waiting for repairs. James immediately declines, citing how busy he is. Disappointed but understanding, you move on. A few days later, James comes to you for help. He needs assistance moving heavy furniture. Thinking it's the neighborly thing to do, you agree. But what happens next? He begins to frequently rely on you for receiving his mail, lending him tools, or watching his house while he's away. Yet, whenever you ask him for help in return, his response is always the same. I am too busy. These kinds of relationships can leave you feeling drained and unfairly treated. The selfish neighbor turns you into their go-to helper while rarely, if ever, reciprocating. Stoic philosophy reminds us that your happiness and inner peace depend on your ability to recognize your own limits. Don't hesitate to say no when you feel the relationship has become one-sided. Setting boundaries is crucial to prevent yourself from being taken advantage of and losing balance in your life. Always remember, a healthy neighborly relationship should be built on mutual support, not exploitation. The negative lifestyle neighbor. Not all troublesome neighbors disrupt your life through words or actions. Sometimes, their lifestyle alone can be enough to diminish your quality of life. Consider a neighbor who hosts loud parties every weekend. The blaring music goes on late into the night, accompanied by loud laughter and occasional arguments echoing through the neighborhood. If that weren't enough, they leave piles of trash on the sidewalk after every party, as if it's someone else's problem. I once lived next to someone like this. Hockey was his name. At first, I tried to empathize with his lifestyle. Everyone deserves to have fun, right? But as the parties became an endless routine, They started affecting my sleep and focus. One day, I decided to confront Hockey and express my concerns. His reaction? A smirk and the dismissive words, "That's just how I live. What's the big deal?" At that moment, I realized I couldn't change Hockey's behavior, but I could change how I responded. I set clear boundaries, minimized interactions, and refused to let his chaos dictate my quality of life. Stoic philosophy teaches us that while we cannot control our surroundings, we can control our reactions. If dialogue doesn't yield results, consider creating distance or even moving to a healthier environment if necessary. Always remember, your home isn't just a place to live. It's a space to recharge, find balance, and be happy. Don't let neighbors with negative lifestyles disrupt the peace you deserve. Every neighbor in a community plays a role and has an impact on our lives. Some bring joy, connection, and a spirit of helping one another. But there are also types of neighbors you are better off keeping at a distance to preserve your inner peace. Whether it's the gossip, the selfish neighbor, or the one with a negative lifestyle, the most important thing is to recognize your boundaries, set limits, and protect your personal space. Inner peace is one of the most valuable treasures you have cherished and safeguarded. Remember, you have the power to decide who stays close and who should be kept at a distance. A harmonious community doesn't just rely on everyone's responsibility. It begins with how you choose the relationships in your daily life. 3. Types of relatives to keep your distance from. When distance is also a form of self-love, family is always an important and sacred part of each person's life. We grow up with joyful and sorrowful memories shared with our loved ones. Family provides shelter, teaches us about love, sharing, and responsibility. However, reality is often more complicated than our dreams. Not all family relationships bring the warmth and support we hope for. Sometimes, it's the very people we love who become the source of stress, sadness, or instability in our lives. Recognizing and courageously setting boundaries with family members who have a negative impact on us is not an act of ingratitude, but a way to protect ourselves. Doing so not only helps you maintain inner peace, but also creates opportunities for these relationships to develop in a healthier direction. Below are 3 types of relatives you might consider keeping your distance from, along with illustrative stories, practical lessons, and ways you can protect yourself from these negative relationships to build a more balanced life. The borrower who never repays. Money is a sensitive topic in any relationship, especially within families. When a family member borrows money but never repays it, or worse, turns your kindness into an obligation, it's not just a financial issue, but also a breach of trust. Imagine the story of Mr. Make, a middle-aged man living in the city with a stable job. One day, his nephew came to him with an urgent plea. "Uncle, I need money urgently to pay for my tuition fees. I promise to repay you as soon as I graduate and get a stable job." Out of love and the belief that helping his nephew was the right thing to do, Mr. Mock didn't hesitate to lend him a large sum of money. However, after graduating, his nephew not only failed to repay the money, but also offered countless excuses. Unstable work, low salary, and rising living expenses. Eventually, he began avoiding Mr. Mack altogether whenever the debt was mentioned. This story isn't uncommon. Relatives who borrow but never repay not only cause financial losses, but also erode family relationships. Your kindness is exploited, and instead of feeling fulfilled for helping someone, you are left with disappointment and bitterness. Set clear financial boundaries. Before lending money to anyone, consider carefully. Will this amount affect your life? If they don't repay, can you accept it? View assistance as a gift. If you decide to help, treat it as an unconditional gift rather than a loan. This helps you avoid disappointment if they don't keep their promises. Learn to say no. If lending money puts you in a difficult position, decline politely but firmly. The one who only takes advantage. In families, helping and sharing come naturally. But if that help is always one-sided, it's no longer love, it's exploitation. Relatives who only think about their own benefits, constantly asking for help but never reciprocating, can leave you feeling emotionally and physically drained. Imagine you have a cousin named Mary. She always shows up when she needs help, whether it's asking you to babysit, fix something, or even complete her work documents. But when you need assistance from Mary, her response is always, "I am so busy. Please understand." Over time, you realize that the relationship has become entirely one-sided. Whenever you refuse to help, Mary criticizes you for not caring about the family, making you feel guilty, even though you know you've done nothing wrong. Set your boundaries. Be clear about your limits and don't let anyone cross them. Don't let guilt control you. Kindness isn't an obligation, and you have the right to refuse unreasonable requests. Communicate clearly. Be honest with your relative about how you feel. Sometimes, honesty can help them realize their behavior and change. The lazy and dependent relative. Family is often a place to seek support during tough times. However, when a relative becomes lazy and dependent on you without any intention of changing, your support ceases to be love and turns into indulgence. Consider the story of Mai, a hard-working woman striving to build a stable life. One day, her cousin Nam came to her for help. He had just lost his job and needed temporary housing. Out of compassion, Mai agreed to let Nam stay in her house and covered his living expenses. However, instead of proactively seeking a job or improving his situation, Nam spent his days sleeping, scrolling through social media, and watching television. When Mai suggested he make a plan, Nam came up with excuses. "The job market is tough. I am not ready yet." Over time, Nam not only made no effort to change, but also became increasingly dependent on Mai, leaving her feeling exploited and exhausted. Helping is not indulgence. Supporting someone through tough times is good, but ensure your help encourages them to become independent rather than fostering dependency. Set clear expectations. If you decide to help, discuss the time frame and responsibilities of both parties in advance. Know when to stop. Don't be afraid to create distance if the person refuses to change. Sometimes keeping your distance is the motivation they need to stand on their own. Many people think keeping distance from family members is selfish or ungrateful. However, this isn't about rejecting your love for them. It's about protecting your mental, emotional, and overall balance in life. Remember, love doesn't mean sacrificing everything. When you know how to set boundaries, you not only protect yourself, but also create opportunities for relationships to become healthier. Family is where we begin our lives, but not all family relationships bring happiness. When dealing with relatives who borrow without repaying, exploit you, or remain lazy and dependent, you must have the courage to set boundaries. Always remember, keeping your distance isn't about abandoning love. It's about protecting yourself and giving family relationships a chance to change positively. Your inner peace and balance in life are worth more than anything else. The philosophy of choosing and letting go of relationships. A journey to find peace and meaning in life. Each of us is surrounded by countless relationships. Family, friends, colleagues, and even neighbors. These relationships can be sources of inspiration, support, and joy. But they can also become burdens, cause harm, or hinder personal growth. The question is, how can we recognize and choose relationships that truly align with us while having the courage to let go of those that no longer bring positive value? The answer lies in the philosophy of self-respect. When you learn to love and value yourself, you naturally attract healthy relationships and are ready to release those that no longer fit. Self-respect is the foundation of all healthy relationships. Self-respect isn't just an abstract concept, it's an actionable principle. It means acknowledging your worth and recognizing that you deserve to be treated with kindness, love, and respect. When you are confident in your value, you set standards for how others treat you. Why is self-respect important? Imagine yourself as a finely crafted vase, delicate and valuable. If you don't recognize your worth, you might allow others to use it carelessly, resulting in scratches or cracks. But when you understand your value, you'll carefully choose where to place it, protecting it from harm. The same goes for relationships. When you respect yourself, you'll naturally attract those who respect you and distance yourself from those who harm you. How to cultivate self-respect. Set clear boundaries. Don't hesitate to say no when something doesn't align with your values or mental health. Listen to your emotions. If a relationship leaves you feeling drained, exploited, or undervalued, pay attention to that inner voice and take action. Trust in your worth. Don't let others' opinions make you doubt yourself. You deserve relationships of quality. Selective relationships. Quality over quantity. There's a famous saying, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." This highlights the profound impact of those we choose to accompany us on life's journey. How to choose the right relationships. Prioritize positive influences. Surround yourself with people who uplift, encourage your growth, and bring joy to your life. Distance yourself from negativity. Those who constantly criticize, complain, or bring stress will only drain your energy. Evaluate based on shared values. Do you and the other person share similar goals, life values, or perspectives? If not, that relationship may not be worth a long-term investment. Lana, a young and ambitious woman, once had a group of friends from high school. As she matured, she realized that these friends often dragged her into negative conversations, rarely offered encouragement, and criticized everything. She began feeling trapped in a cycle of negativity, unable to focus on her personal goals. After much thought, Lana decided to distance herself from her old group and invest her time with new friends who shared her passions and inspired her. As a result, Lana not only felt happier but also achieved greater success in her career and life. The courage to let go when distance is an act of love. Letting go is not easy, especially with long-standing relationships. However, it's essential to understand that not all relationships are meant to last forever. And sometimes, letting go is the only way to protect yourself. Signs you should let go of a relationship. It leaves you feeling more exhausted than joyful. You no longer feel respected or valued. The relationship becomes one-sided, where you give without receiving. The other person refuses to change or repeatedly hurts you. Letting go gracefully. Accept that letting go is not failure. Sometimes, creating distance is the best way for both parties to find peace. Communicate honestly and kindly. If possible, share your feelings and explain why you need space. Focus on your growth instead of mourning the loss. Channel your time and energy into self-development and building new relationships. Jack had a college friend who constantly criticized him, envied his success, and even tried to undermine him. Although it hurt, Jack realized that continuing this relationship would hold him back. With courage, he decided to reduce interaction with this friend and focus on relationships that brought him joy and support. The result: Jack not only felt lighter, but also saw significant progress in his career and personal life. Nurturing meaningful relationships. Investing in what matters. Once you've let go of unsuitable relationships, you'll have more room to invest in those that genuinely bring value. Meaningful relationships not only enrich your life, but also help you become the best version of yourself. How to build meaningful relationships. Be sincere and open. Strong relationships are built on honesty and a willingness to share. Spend quality time. Dedicate time to listen, share, and enjoy meaningful moments with those who matter. Support and encourage. True relationships are mutual, where both parties uplift and inspire one another. Han, a young mother, once felt lonely and disconnected. After joining a support group for mothers, she found friends who understood and shared the challenges and joys of parenting. These new relationships not only made Han feel connected, but also helped her grow and learn. Choosing relationships isn't just about deciding who to keep close, it's about shaping the life you want to live. Remember, you have every right to determine who enters your life and who should leave. The most important thing is to prioritize your peace, happiness, and personal growth. Let this philosophy guide you. Self-respect is the key to building meaningful relationships and nurturing a fulfilling life. In life's journey, choosing and letting go of relationships is an art that requires skill, courage, and wisdom. Not everyone can walk with you on every path, and that's okay. Remember, only when you recognize your worth can you nurture relationships that truly matter. And sometimes, letting go isn't giving up. It's opening the door to better things. Dear friend, Every day is a gift, an opportunity to make your life better. But the journey to finding happiness and peace isn't just about achieving what you want. It's about learning to love yourself and choosing what truly deserves a place in your life. Live with self-appreciation. When you understand that your worth doesn't depend on others, you'll naturally attract good things. Self-appreciation isn't selfish or distant. It's about prioritizing your mental and emotional well-being so you can spread positive energy to those around you. Life is filled with relationships and companions for each chapter, but not all relationships will help you move forward. Therefore, choose wisely. Keep those who bring joy, encourage you, and inspire you to become your best self. Don't hesitate to distance yourself from those who leave you tired, drained, or hurt. In our busy and often challenging lives, what we yearn for most is peace of mind. Peace doesn't come from success, but from contentment with yourself and gratitude for the good things you have. Thank you for being with us on this journey. We believe that each of us has the ability to build a meaningful life, full of love and respect. If you found this content helpful, please like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss any positive and inspiring messages from Peaceful Mind and Life channel. We're always here to walk alongside you on your path to happiness and serenity. And finally, leave a comment. I choose peace to spread this message to more people and build a community full of positive energy. Wishing you a fulfilling, balanced, and peaceful life. Remember, your peace and happiness are priceless.